Hi everyone, it's RAXX, and I'm starting my Season 25 videos right now. And we're going to start with a guide that I've actually already written in the past. I usually avoid redoing a guide that I've already done unless there have been a lot of changes to it. But the reason why we must start with this one is this Ina Ally Monk is the strongest build by far at everything. Let that soak in for a second. If Blizzard doesn't nerf this build, this is the strongest build by far at everything for anybody. Anybody can play this. If you've never played the game before, I promise you this is the best build. There's no exception to it. I don't expect Blizzard to nerf this because usually they let the super powerful builds go for at least 2 seasons. This is only the 2nd season it's been around. So let's cover how to do this. So we need the full Ina set. The 2-piece is going to increase the passive effect of our Mystic allies and give us more of the passive effect of the mantras. Okay. The 4-piece is going to give us all 4 mantras at the same time. We're going to get 5% damage reduction for every Mystic ally we have out, and they don't take damage. So they're going to stay alive, and they're going to give us damage reduction. Perfect. We're going to get the passive abilities of the 5 ruined Mystic allies at all times. Attacking enemies creates our chosen Mystic ally. It lasts for 15 seconds. You can have up to 10 allies. The damage of your Mystic allies is increased by 3,000% for each Mystic ally you have out. What does all of that mean? It just means summon your Mystic allies. You're not going to take any damage, and they're going to absolutely destroy everything. That's all there is to it. Now, when we go to the weapons, I know that you guys are going to be absolutely terrifying and shivering in your chairs when we suggest that you need to use Shenlongs. So let me explain why that would happen in case you are new to Shenlongs. There was a bug with these weapons that went on for a long time that said, what you want to do is you want to fill up your spirit, and then your spirit drains very quickly. But while it's draining, you deal massive damage. Now, the problem with this set was you would get it very close to the top, but it wouldn't trigger. It wouldn't trigger the buff when you wanted it to happen, and therefore you would miss your opportunity to deal massive damage, and then everyone would get furious, including myself. I made many videos on this over many seasons, begging Blizzard to fix it. Well, I have good news. 2 pieces of good news. The first piece of good news is Blizzard fixed it. In the patch notes, they said, we fixed Shenlongs, you can use it now and not cry. But I have an even better piece of news for you about Shenlongs. I tested it. I tried it. Because unfortunately, sometimes things are said that don't always materialize, right? It does work. It's super easy to play. I just posted a video a couple of days ago of me using Shenlongs, and I told you, look, it works perfectly. So we can use Shenlongs. Don't worry if it was a thorn in your side before. I promise you it works. So we want both Shenlongs pieces. They are by far the best options now that the ethereals are gone. And one of the beautiful things about the Mystic Ally Monk is area damage doesn't work. Area damage is normally like the most powerful stat that you can get no matter what you're doing, right? But this time, area damage doesn't work. So we're going to take things like damage, attack speed, cooldown, crit hit chance, crit hit damage, everywhere that we possibly can to destroy things. So we'll take both Shenlongs. I'll cover the soul shards at the end, but here's like the normal setup that you could use for any season. In the offhand, we want the other Shenlongs piece with exactly the same stuff with the crit hit damage socketed there. The Crudus Boots. Mystic Allies summons 2 Mystic Allies that fight by your side. At the beginning of the season, you will want to gamble for these and try to get them. If you get these right away, you will destroy leveling up. You will crush it. I'll do a bunch of practice runs. I'll show you what happens if you can gamble these boots, and it's actually a pretty good chance to get them, and then you can crush. But obviously, Mystic Allies summons 2 Mystic Allies. We need this. Dex, Vit, all resistant armor is what we want. On the pants, we want Dex, Vit, all resist. We're going to sock it with diamonds to help us stay alive. Traveler's Pledge and Compass Rose are going to let us be in control of whether we want to do massive damage or whether we want to stay alive. if you move around, it reduces your damage taken. And if you stand still, you deal massive damage. So stand still, deal the massive damage. With Traveler's Pledge and Compass Rose, we want all the typical damaging stats, damage range, crit. Bane of the Trapped is going to give us a huge damage boost. You take Bane of the Trapped in every damage dealing build practically in Diablo 3. So Bane of the Trapped, we will take it for the 60% increased damage. And on Traveler's Pledge, again, crit with the fire. And we will take Enforcer because Mystic allies are pets. And Enforcer increases the damage of our pets by 60%. So that's where that comes from. Another thing that we use all the time, Convention of Elements. Should seem pretty logical. Damage crit is what we're looking for. And Bane of the Stricken is going to help us kill the Guardian quickly. If you're doing lower level content, you don't have to take Bane of the Stricken. You could take something else. But for the super high solo pushes, we're going to need it to help us kill the Guardian. On the belt, we're looking for Dex, Fit, All Resist, and Life, just to stay alive. On the gloves, we'll look for the quads, Attack Speed, Crit, cooldown. Lefebvre's Soliloquy, when we Cyclone Strike, we take 50% less damage. It's going to keep us alive. And we must take Cyclone Strike for the Bindings of the Lesser Gods. So this is definitely the best in slot. Shoulder, unless you want to be a crazy person and try to go maybe somehow with Awe Guilds to drop both of these. But I wouldn't recommend that if you're a new player. Dex, All Resist, cooldown, and Mystic ally damage is what we want on the shoulders. On the helmet, Dex, Vit, and Crit with a diamond normally, but we'll take a special soul shard for Season 25. Oh, pizza's done. For the Ina chest, Dex, Vit, and Mystic ally damage. And finally, we have the Spirit Guards, which is Fire, Dex, Crit. And Life on Hit is a good choice if you don't have Life on Hit anywhere else to help keep you alive. And Spirit Guards are going to give us 60% damage reduction whenever we use a generator. So on to the skills. Mystic Ally, Fire Ally. Obviously, we need to take Mystic Ally. It's the whole point of the build. Fire Ally is what deals by far the most damage. Fire Ally is the best for solo pushing. And it's also technically the best for speed greater rifts because it can do so much higher. When I do speed greater rifts, I like to use the water rune though because it's so fun. It just destroys everything on the map. It's very easy mode. It's very chill. But the Fire Ally will outperform water in every single thing except like T16 or bounties. But you could still choose to use the water rune for speed greater rifts, but water is absolutely not a choice for pushing. It has to be fire. Dashing Strike lets us move around. Blinding Speed gives us a chance to dodge. Inner Sanctuary, we drop it, helps us stay alive, especially with Traveler's Pledge and Compass Rose if we want to stand still. Serenity just helps us stay alive when we're trying to blast. Way of the 100 Fists Assimilation, we punch. This is going to activate our Spirit Guards, and it's going to give us a damage increase right before we unleash the hounds here. And Cyclone Strike is going to pull all the monsters together to help us damage everything. Cyclone Strike will give us the damage buff from Lefebvre's Soliloquy and the damage buff from the Bindings of the Lesser Gods. Near-death experience is a cheat death. Nobody likes dying, so take a cheat death. Seize the Initiative is going to give us massive attack speed when we first hit our monsters. Beacon of Ytar 20 cooldown. And Guardian's Path will help us stay alive with the 35 dodge. Flying Dragon is incredible for this build. It has a chance to double our attack speed, which increases the damage of our allies, so that's what we'll take in the cube slot. Bindings of the Lesser Gods will give us massive damage after we hit enemies with Cyclone Strike. You need this in speed greater rifts and in the greater rift pushing, but you can consider getting rid of this in like T16 content because you'll one-shot it anyway. And finally, Ring of Royal Grandeur will complete our Ina's set. And then for T16, we have all of the normal stuff that you would expect. We'll pick up Boon of the Hoarders so we can pick up a bunch of gold. You can cube gold wrap now. We don't need the Bindings of the Lesser Gods anymore to keep you alive forever once you pick up the gold. Mesher Smith's Reaver is nice. It's going to give us infinite cooldowns. We can pick up Warzeshian arm guards to move faster. We're going to take Lefebvre's, I guess, to stay alive. There's no other great choice. It really doesn't matter. We're going to be one-shotting everything anyway. Again, with Ingeom to reset all of our cooldowns, Echoing Fury for the more attack speed and the movement speed. And here in the speed content, in the bounties and the T16s, it's 100% water. Water just swims everywhere and just crushes everything in one hit. This is, in my tests, I think the Ina Water Mystic Ally Monk is the best key farmer in the entire game. It's rivaled by some other top tier ones like the God DH, but I think pound for pound, still, the Mystic Ally Water Ina Monk is the very best. So what about speed greater rifts? What can we do there? Again, you have a choice. You can go fire, which is technically better. Fire will give you more XP per hour, or you can have some fun and you can be lazy and you can go with water. You're going to lose a bit of efficiency. Well, actually, you'll gain efficiency playing, but you're going to lose a bit of XP because you're going to have to go many tiers lower. But anyway, we can throw on all guilds here and get rid of all that survivability stuff that I told you about, because we're just going to try to just one-shot everything anyway. We can get rid of Traveler's Pledge and Compass Rose and COE, and instead pick up Squirts and Focus and Restraint. So we're going to alternate between our Way of the 100 Fists and our Cyclone Strike. It's going to keep that buff up, and we're just going to crush everything as we run on through. Shenlongs is also probably not needed. You could try it with Shenlongs, but you're probably better off just going with Ingeom to reset all your cooldowns. And Echoing Fury will help you crush as well. So try all guilds, Focus and Restraint, and Squirts. Otherwise, it's all pretty much the same thing, and it's your choice whether you use water or fire. Try them both, see which one you like better. So now let's take a moment to talk about the Season 25 buff and how we're going to use this with the most powerful build. So, as you may or may not have known, there are all of these new powerful soul shards that you can socket into your helmets and into your weapons, and this is the lovely bank that the Maxroll team has come up with that you will see being used in all the guides. So for the Ina Ally Monk in helmets, and honestly for practically every single class, we are undoubtedly going to go with Sliver of Terror unless Blizzard decides to nerf it. So let's look at how this plays out. So at the top, you're going to see a bunch of stats. Those always come with it. But your cooldowns are increased by 25%. So that means that's a bad thing, right? Our cooldowns are always going to be on cooldown. So that sounds bad already. But for every skill on cooldown, you take 12.5% reduced damage, and you deal 25% increased damage. Now that is starting to sound significant. It's going to be a huge damage reduction for us. We can stay alive, and it's going to be a massive damage boost. So Sliver of Terror is already amazing right there. Then, if you look at the very bottom, the 1 of 3 magic properties, you have a couple of different options that you can take while you're solo pushing. You can either cast a devastating Ring of Fire after killing 100 enemies. This is a fine choice. The Ring of Fire was way too powerful in the first iteration of the PTR. It just destroyed everything. And it procced after you killed 50 enemies. Now it's 100. Now it's less powerful. But it's still helpful. So Ring of Fire is an option. The attack speed and the critical hit chance are increased by 7% for each skill on cooldown. This is an incredible option as well. Attack speed makes our Mystic allies hit harder, and critical hit chance, I mean, we'll take that whenever we can get it. And then if 3 or more skills are on cooldown, your lightning and fire skill damage are increased by 50%. Well, whenever we're pushing, we're using fire skill damage, so it's another 50% damage. So actually, this is a scenario where any of these 3 would be pretty powerful. And it will actually be kind of interesting to see which one people go with. But the Sliver of Terror with these powers is definitely what you're looking for in the helmet. In the weapons, there are a couple of different options, except for there really isn't. Because Dregs of Lies, unless they nerf it, is by far the best choice for us. So we deal 25% less damage. That's not sounding too good. But our pets deal 50% increased damage. Oh, well, Mystic Allies are our pets, and they deal all the damage, so that's a huge boost for us. When we look at the bottom, out of the 3 choices, they are not equal at all. The top one, each time your pet hits an enemy, your damage is increased by 1%, stacks up to 100, and then once you reach 100, it drains very quickly. That's the best option by far. It gives us up to 100% increased damage again on our pets. The other choice is receiving damage. It summons the shadow clones. Right now, the shadow clones one-shot everything on the PTR. It's a bug. I hope they'll fix it. So if they fix that, the shadow clones suck. And then killing an enemy reduces all of our active cooldowns. That's nice, but that's nowhere near 100% increased damage to our pets. So actually, it's a very straightforward choice for us, which is good. We want to upgrade Slivers of Terror for our helmet, and we want to update Dregs of Lies for our weapons for Season 25. Now let's look at the Paragon points quickly. First, max your movement speed and core, then just dump everything into Dex. Unless you need to survive, then you can put some into Vitality. For offense, all of these are good. Maybe start with CDR, but then, I mean, all of them are good. CDR, crit chance, crit damage, and maybe attack speed last. Those are all godly. Defenses, we definitely want all resist first, then life, then armor and life per second last. And finally, at the bottom, we never need area damage. Area damage doesn't work, and area damage has a chance to lag us in the game. So leave this at 0. We can take the life per hit first to stay alive, and then the resource cost reduction, even though, I mean, it's not going to help us too much, and then the bonus globes. Just pick up the life per hit first, and don't take the area damage, and that's all you need to know about the Paragon points. All right, guys, let's look at some gameplay here. Since I already showed you the 140 baby monk footage, let's see how it looks in T16. Well, I just spam all of my buffs and I dash forward with my water allies, and okay, well, 25% of the rift is already done. You just fly around, boom, pick up the DBs. And by the way, this footage is without the seasonal buff. I don't have the Dregs of Lies here, and I don't have the Sliver of Terror. So it's going to be even more ridiculous in Season 25, and there are probably some T16 shards that we can use for increased movement speed, because honestly, we probably don't need the damage in some of that easy content, where we can just destroy everything. But as you can see, we're almost done now. Literally, before I could explain everything, we have cleared the entire thing. And pretty much all I'm doing is spamming all of my buffs and dashing forward. I do have Cyclone Strike there to gather up the enemies, but really I don't even have a chance to use it because they just die instantly. I think pound for pound, this is the best T16 build in the entire game. Let's see how long the Guardian lasts. You got Vaporized. Now let's jump over to a GR100 and see how that looks. Alrighty, if the game would load, and here we go. Let's see how hard a GR100 is. And by the way, this is a very baby monk. This is not a powerful one at all. This doesn't have any augments, nothing like that. It doesn't have the seasonal theme. This is just a pure little baby monk that you could make, doing a 100. And again, I'm using the water allies for speeds because I like them a lot. I have a lot of fun using them, but I am admitting right now that the fire allies, although they're a little bit slower, can do such a higher tier than water that it is the better choice. But even when we have a bad map, a spaghetti into a little cave, you can see our bar is just flying. Oh, power pylon. This should be hilarious. Let's see how this goes. Move at the speed of light, one-shot everything instantly. This 100, even for my baby monk, is just way too low, and you're going to be able to farm way higher than a 100. When you actually get a geared monk, when you actually get the seasonal theme going, you know, I don't know what tier you're going to be able to speed farm, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say there's going to be people speed farming probably at least into the 120s, maybe into the 130s, and just absolutely annihilating it. Anyway, guys, this is, I hope, is a clear demonstration of the unimaginable power of this build. Adios, Choker. Well, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you guys have an amazing Thanksgiving. Many more videos are coming. I need to get this shout out now because this deal is going to be gone soon. If you guys may have already known, I'm partnered with Apex Gaming PCs, a lovely company that builds computers. They have a Black Friday and a Cyber Monday sale going on. If you want to buy any of these PCs or look around, if you use my code RAXX, you can get up to $250 off, and you get free shipping. If it's international, I think it's 50% off shipping, but it's a pretty incredible deal. So look through these, see if there's any of them that you would like if you're trying to pick up a computer for Christmas. And love you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video, and happy holidays.